Hey everyone, we are so excited for next week. And also, we have kind of a special announcement to make if you want to share one.
Yes, we do. We are very excited. The guide is here.
The new
We
guys
are so
are
excited. The
here.
new guides are here, and this is all preparing us for our 1 day workshop next Saturday.
Yeah.
And we've added so much to this guide because we know that this is not just for the workshop, but is going to meet you and walk you through every month of the year. So we're super excited about that.
Yeah.
And just so that you know, we've created this guide to help you prepare specifically for all of the possibilities of a brand new year.
Yeah.
And it will be a companion basically for you as you do that, as we go through this, and we go through this together. We love meeting together and do this because we love connecting to the rhythms of God's calendar and his timing.
Yeah, because this is what we do in our membership. We're connecting with you and walking through, the guide in each one of these months. And so in this guide, there's a scripture that we have in the introduction that I love from Romans 8:29. I actually want to read it to you.
So good.
It's the Message version, but it's Romans 8:29 through 30. And he says, God knew what he was doing from the very beginning. He decided from the outset to shape the lives of those who love him along the same lines as the life of his son. The son stands first in the line of humanity he restored. We see the original and intended shape of our lives there in him. After God made that decision of what his children should be like, he followed it up by calling people by name. After he called them by name, he set them on a solid basis with himself. And then, after getting them established, he stayed with them to the end, gloriously completing what he had begun.
Wow, it's so awesome and such a great way to begin the guide because we love this idea that God so knew what he was doing from the beginning and he decided from the onset to shape the lives of those who love him.
Yeah.
And that's really what this is all about, right? Is new beginnings. We know they're available to us every minute of the day, right? We always have that choice. We can make a new beginning. But there's something about the new year that helps us to be intentional about that, to really to take that time and appreciate kind of the new start of the new year. There's a little added thing to that. And really what we want is this book is just a part of that process. For the first of many new starts, right? To truly embrace something new. And we know that it will benefit you more than just about anything to get emotionally complete with the season that you are leaving in order to fully embrace the season that you are entering into.
Yeah, and that's really important because obviously there's good and bad from the previous year. And until you kind of process through it, complete it, it's really hard to put all of yourself to show up fully present in the new year when there's things lingering from the previous year. And so we would like to begin our time with you with a confession of a sorts. We're approaching this year with a very particular assumption. And that assumption is simply this: God is always seeking our transformation through union with him, kind of like that passage in Romans talked about. So if this assumption is correct, we believe that it is, then we're left with basically two options: trust him and align with his purposes, or do it our own way. And thankfully, I have put on my editor hat enough times to try to write my own story and have a huge mess on my hands that I just sort of naturally go to, okay, God, what is your story for my life? What do you have for me? Because I know that your story is going to be way better than mine. But if we trust God is seeking our transformation, then what does it look like? And how do we align with what he's up to in our lives? Right.
And I love this because I feel like when you're seeking God and you're growing and maturing in your faith, I think you come to a place where you're kind of like ready. Okay, God, I'm going to line up with your will. Yeah. God, just bring your will into my life. And I believe that this is taking that a step further, is to understand that the main part of God's will is connection, is his connection to us. And I believe that God reminds us of a very important aspect of this transformation in Isaiah. Love Isaiah.
Yeah.
I love Isaiah. But this is so interesting. In Isaiah 43, he tells us, stop dwelling on past events and brooding over time gone by. I am doing something new. It's springing up. Can't you see it? And then he even promises, I'm making a road in the desert, rivers in a wasteland.
Yeah.
So this is powerful because what we do is we help people process through their grief and loss, right? Of things so that they can fully embrace and be present for their lives today. And so it was interesting when I first read this because it's about how do we not dwell on things and brood over them, right? So we want to become free from that, free from what we're dwelling on and brooding over. And that starts with first naming those things.
Yeah.
And then bringing them to Yeshua, bringing them into that presence to grieve it, to properly grieve it. Right. And that's what we are so excited to give you guys the opportunity to do.
Yes.
Because it's in this freedom that it's easier for you to attune your heart to the voice of Jesus, to his voice, the good shepherd. And he is always leading us into God's glory and his story for our lives.
Yeah. And honestly, if you think about it, this is actually a huge relief.
Yeah.
Because in other words, we don't have to make life happen on our own.
Yeah.
Instead, we can just lean in and listen to our shepherd's voice and then follow where he directs us. Now, I will say that we may not always know exactly where we're being led, and we often don't, but we do know that God is deeply and personally committed to our restoration, to, as Ephesians 1 in the Message version puts it, to make us whole and holy. And I love that idea. So surrendering ourselves to this process of restoration is what aligns us with God. And then in partnership with him, we experience this comprehensive transformation that Romans describes, right? That unfolds over time. And so in his great kindness and his great mercy, God is promising to be with us, but he does not promise that the process is always going to be easy.
Right.
The pain is real, but so is the prize. And the prize is God himself. So if this is really what God is up to, our transformation into wholeness, into holiness, then doesn't it just make sense to be as intentional as possible in cultivating our union with him?
Yeah, absolutely. And as we've been talking about, with every new year, the year 2024 holds renewed hopes, new possibilities, that fresh, right? And that's why we love doing this workshop at this time, because it's literally like getting a whole month of coaching in an afternoon. Yeah. Really, you're going to get inspiration, direction. You're going to get all of that. And so if this resonates with you, if this is something that you go, wow, this sounds different than the way I've kind of gone after my New Year's start resolutions, that kind of thing.
This is not what that's
about. It
is
not what that's about. Yeah. And if this resonates with you, with your heart, join us for this interactive workshop. Come ready to engage and engage in this. This guide is incredible. And we're going to map out your whole year together in that afternoon. It's incredible.
Yeah. And really bring that into alignment with God, because that's the point of it all, right?
Yeah.
If we just figure out what our goals are and we don't involve God, then even if we get those goals, they're not going to bring us what we hope they were.
Yeah.
So part one of what we're doing, Living an Inspired Life, in the guide is really an opportunity to consider everything that happened in 2023 and then courageously and intentionally move forward into 2024. So these groups that we have when we do these workshops, they are based on a couple of things. One of them that is paramount is emotional safety.
Yeah.
Because we want to make sure that everyone is able to experience freedom. And the only way they can do that is if they know they're not going to be, having to deal with judgment and a bunch of unsolicited advice. They need to be able to be safe to process the year, right? And so we're here really to support each other in an intentional, very intentional focus on emotional health and spiritual growth. And so this is it's really just a priceless investment in you.
Yeah, absolutely. A great way to kick off the year. Yeah. So we want you to join us. And if you can register today, register now, because we want to get you the guide in time so that you have it. So the link is below. If you're watching this on Instagram, The link is not below because you can't do that. So
Right.
it's in the bio. There's
Right.
a link in the bio that'll take you right to the page. The page will tell you all about it.
On Instagram.
Yes. And in any of these links, and it'll
Yeah.
give you much more information, give you all the details
Yeah.
and all of those things.
Yeah.
And we would love to have you there.
We hope to see you there, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So enjoy your weekend and have a beautiful and blessed day.
Shalom.